Live.
All right, so we're going to demo an Ionic foot bath. Dr. Matt has generously offered to donate his feet for the purpose of our little experiment here. So,
what's your name?
My name is Anne Marie. I'm one of the nurses here. So, and this is our Ion Cleanse Premier. This is a professional unit. We have a solo unit, or the company sells a solo unit that patients can use at home, but this is the professional. It's all set up. We've got water in here, just plain tap water. This piece right here is the array. The metal in here is what works with the electricity and the salt that we've put in the water to create the ions. The ions are what pull the toxins, bind to them, neutralize them, and allow the detox process to take place.
Can I get a little close up on that, on the machine?
Like absolutely.
The device?
On this guy?
Like?
Yeah, this is the array. And then this cord is running to that box right over there. And that box is where we tell it what program we're going to run for the foot bath. Awesome. So it is all set up. I'm just going to go ahead and push start on here. And
guys, I'd be doing this myself, but I'm not in the mood to do a Herx reaction right now. I'm not feeling very centered, so.
Well, we could do it later.
Yeah, I'll have to do it another week.
If you have any metal in your body, you can have a higher likelihood of potentially having a Herx.
Yeah.
So you want to be careful. But most people tolerate the foot bath pretty well.
Okay. Normally I would for sure do it. I just, after traveling, and I'm actually on antibiotics for the first time in 7 years, so I had a crazy ear infection that I couldn't get rid of. I tried everything. I want to ask you and Dr. K what in the future I could do for an ear infection, because I tried everything. Anyway, besides the point. Okay, continue.
So, and you'll notice the water starts to change colors immediately. The color in the water is a function of not just what's coming out of the body, but also the interaction between the ions created by the electricity and the salts in the water with whatever might be in the tap water. So you'll see sometimes more dramatic or less dramatic color in the water, and sometimes it has more to do with what's in the tap water than it does what's coming out of the body. The real money, the real value of this is what it does not just during the foot bath, but also afterwards. So this should induce some parasympathetic response. It should do some detoxing right at the time, but also the positive ions or the ions created by the array, positive or negative, are going to travel across the skin and bind to toxins inside the body and be eliminated through your normal elimination pathways for up to 5 days afterwards. Wow. So you see a benefit for days afterwards, and we'll see that in terms of increased metals and toxins in people's urine and feces after the treatment. So
what's happening on a simple level here?
So we have electricity reacting with salted water and metal. Okay. And it's creating positive and negative ions in a certain percentage. The program we have it set up right now is specific percentage of ions, and this machine allows us to set that. We have another machine that is just, it's very standardized. So it's a standard number or percentage of positive and negative. This one's a little bit more tweakable. But either way, you wind up with some positive and some negative ions in the water. They pull the opposite charged toxin. So if you have like a mold or mycotoxin that has a particular charge, and you have the opposite charge in the water, the two can bind together, neutralize, and then be eliminated.
Just like a binder.
Right.
Just like a normal binder.
Yeah. So if the toxins are pulled out of the body into the water, bound together with ions in the water, they become molecules too large to travel back across the skin into the body again. If the ions in the water travel through the skin, bind to the toxins inside the body, they're not going to come out through the skin, but they're going to come out through your other elimination pathways.
So what do we know about the color of water, and is that important for patients to look into as far as their treatment, or does it mean much, or is it just sort of like a cool thing to?
It's kind of just more of a cool thing. Like, it's not. We have a little color chart. And the color chart is interesting. It's some information, but it is definitely not the Bible. Even the manufacturers of this unit who created this chart will tell you it's a guideline, but far more important than the color of the water is really what's going on in terms of how you feel and what we can test on a chemical level. So what we can actually see being eliminated. So the colors are cool. If you see black flecks, I definitely think that that's metal. When we see black black flecks in there. I don't know how else you're going to get black flecks in there. So there are certain things I feel like are better indicators than others, but by and large, the other unit, the array, has copper in it. You're going to see orange in that water every time because you've got copper and reacting with electricity in salt water. So it doesn't matter if you have feed in it or not. You're going to see orange water as a result of that. So some parts of the color are just influenced by what happens to be in your tap water at that point in time, or the metal that's in the array. So.
Have you ever done one of these?
Oh yeah.
In full? How do you feel after? How long is the full session?
It's usually 30 minutes.
30 minutes. The other unit is 30 minutes flat. You can't change the amount of time. This one you can change the amount of time, and it can range anywhere from, I think, at a minimum 10 all the way up to 45 or 50 minutes. And I have staff members here that will actually sit and do 2 foot baths back to back.
Wow.
So I've had patients do up to a 60-minute foot bath session. Can be fantastic.
Yeah, I just wanted to add, some of the doctors here at Sophia are doing hand baths too. We found that, metals get deposited in different tissues for different reasons, and the hand bath can be maybe more effective at bringing stuff down from the upper body, depending on what metals are there, what spinal roots they're coming from what level of the spinal cord, etc. But we don't really do it together. We either do it foot or hand, and what Dr. Klinghardt and the doctors here are doing are rotating. So we do this 3 days a week, up to 4 maybe on average, and 2 days will be hand, 2 days will be foot, for example. But just like anything, you learn to see how it's affecting you, and that's kind of the guiding force in a lot of our protocols, is how the patient's responding, how can we tweak it to fit their needs, their practical needs, what their body is showing. As you know, detox is there's a lot of science behind it, but when you go to actually put it into a program for a person, there's a lot of art to it. We can only handle so much, our consciousness, our ability to fight and detox. We have our limitations, so helping patients understand where their limitations are is an important aspect of detox. But overall, I find the foot baths being very beneficial. People typically don't hurt, maybe Emery has seen otherwise, but usually they feel maybe a little achy. Like right now, I just feel my feet feel tingly. I'll support my kidneys by drinking water in our extra celery juice today, and get more toxins out, just supporting the natural detox. But overall, I feel like this is just a supportive therapy. We see a lot of success with the kids in the autistic realm. Some of their things that are their symptoms are noted. You can see a change when you make a slight change. You notice that they'll sit still longer, or they'll look at you differently, or they're able to say something in a different way. So when you see small adjustments like that, you're working on a deep level, and you're getting toxins out that are affecting their central nervous system, and that bodes well.
This company has actually done a couple of studies with children with autism, and looked at there's an autism scale, the parents rate sort of behaviors and functioning, and they've looked at the difference in the children's ratings on that scale before and after a series of foot baths, and seen some really dramatic, beautiful improvements. So, and another way that we're using this more lately, by using a different mode, I have Matt on mode 5, we were able to detox from glyphosate a little more efficiently, which is kind of a big thing a big focus for us around here at this point. And they did some testing with glyphosate, and it was up to, I think, a 50% reduction in glyphosate levels after a series of foot baths. So some really amazing results that they're seeing. But on the hand bath thing, I love this unit. I love the other unit for other reasons too. Hand baths are one of the reasons why I love the other unit. The other unit is great for the hand baths. It's a little smaller, more compact, and it's got its own surge protector basically built inside of the array. So when you're talking about water and electricity, obviously you have the potential for a little bit of a jolt. And it's got an extra level of safety that's great for the hand baths. You don't notice it with feet as much, but hands are so sensitive that it can be nice to have that for that unit. So that's one of the reasons why we don't just choose one. We have both options for that reason.
And what are the two? So the two machines are this machine?
We have the AMD, and then I don't really have anything in here to show you the PES. But
Okay, that's not
the PES is a kidney shake.
Unbelievable. You guys have the best figs I've ever had.
Yeah.
Is this local?
They come from PCC.
They probably come from California.
Probably, yeah. Understand everybody is low. Everybody's minerals are low. This is the PES unit. It's very similar, slightly different looking array, but it's more, that kidney shape that you think of when you think of like a at-home spa tub, is what I think this thing looks like. Array sits right here. It plugs in right there, and then the power cord plugs in right there. So
if somebody was choosing between these two foot baths, if they were a standard at-home person who's doing detox work on themselves, which one would you recommend? Or what are the differences?
So my recommendation is if you want an easy all-in-one solution with like extreme customer service, like super simple, you could train a toddler to do it, this is your unit.
Okay.
For sure. Everything comes as a kit. This liner comes with the metal array and it comes with salt and it's good for 20 foot baths. Boom, you're done. After 20, you throw it out, start over.
And what's it called again?
This is the Platinum Energy Systems.
Okay.
It's a Canadian manufacturer.
Got it.
We call it PES for short, but yeah, it's a very simple, elegant, all-in-one solution. This one is an American-made product. Ion Cleanse is the name of the product. AMD, a major difference, is the manufacturer. This is definitely for your person who has a bit more ability to kind of tweak things, because you tweak the salt level. The array is good for longer, but you have to kind of watch to see when it's wearing out. And you can change the settings. So if you have a major lime flare, you can, even on the home unit that doesn't have all of our fancy settings, you can flip the polarity and you can detox from your lime flare. Whereas in default mode and then this one are really heavy metals is their deal, is what they're for.
And what do you think if people are doing a lot of them? Do people need binders? Do people need to go slowly? What's the general rule of thumb? Is there any risks or downside?
So they say to be careful if you're pregnant. They say to be careful if you have a pacemaker. There's some certain precautions medically that you want to take a look at. Binders are always a great idea when you're doing any sort of detox, and I definitely recommend it to patients that are doing a lot of foot baths. Watching your mineral levels. Our patients tend to be really low on their minerals in general, so
welcome to the USA.
Right.
Welcome to the world, actually.
So yeah, so touching base with your doctor, keeping track of what your mineral levels are like, and if you need to be supplementing, checking with your doctor about what is an appropriate supplement for that is important for sure. But I think that most people tolerate them pretty well. This unit you can do up to like 4 times, like I think 3 or 4 times, and then 1 day off, and then 3 or 4 times again. So this one they say 2 to 3 times a week, and that's just the manufacturer recommendations. This one's a little bit less expensive to buy the initial bath. It's about $1,700 for the home unit. This one's about $2,000 for the home unit. But the array that's good for 20 times is $220 for this. So it works out to be $11 a foot bath. The array for that is only $70, so it works out to be significantly less if you think 35 to 40 times out of that. So this one winds up being your less expensive option over time. This one also offers a 60-day money-back guarantee. So if you try it and you're like, my body can't handle this, or it's not for me, you can send it back. And they do a payment plan too. So this one, I think being out of the country, Canadian, they don't have as many options in terms of the financing stuff. The U.S. company has a bit more flexibility, I think. So
Okay.
they do it.
What are those particles on? Is that just the
What you're
reactions?
saying? Yeah.
Or is that those toxins, do you think?
The black flecks are
On-
probably.
on this
Yeah. That's just typical what we get in there.
Wow.
That's typical production. This is not actually that dramatic of production compared to what we get from some people. We'll get foam and all kinds of gooey stuff in there.
Unreal.
Well, I've been eating organic for decades.
Yeah.
So hopefully the setting we're on is
Yes.
something.
Yes.
If we put it on a different setting, I'd probably have a stronger reaction.
Yeah.
Not going to give away my inside secrets. No, I can share. Like some of the metal settings or the biotoxin,
Do you feel like all the poisons in your body are being sucked out of your feet?
A little bit, yeah. It
So
feels
we-
a little tingly.
Yeah.
We
I
have
feel
you
kind
on
of
the glyphosate
relaxed. It
setting.
has a relaxing effect.
And that's one of the sort of hidden but best, I think, features of it is that it does create kind of that relaxation, parasympathetic and inducement. And parasympathetic mode is what your body needs to be in to heal. You can't heal when you're in sympathetic mode. And so even if this pulled 0 toxins out of your body, but put you in parasympathetic mode, everything else that you do is going to work better because you're in a place where your body is receptive to healing. Whereas when you're in fight or flight, you're amped up, you're ready to go, but you're not receptive. You're not able to heal. So, yeah.
Yeah, where's that button on my head?
Right? I know. Well, it's in your feet.
Okay.
So,
Can I just say one
Sure.
thing? So, we're doing this because we want information to get out there, and we respect Josh's work.
absolutely.
But it's for information only.
Yeah.
Right.
If people out there are gonna buy a machine, make sure to listen to the manufacturer or their doctor or their governing authority in their health field. We're here on our own behalf
Totally.
to share, and we don't use a lot of this is our supportive means to help people. We don't use this technically to treat anything, any condition. We leave that up to the authorities that may.